I just want to tell you, thank you for doing this interview with me for WSL. I appreciate it. I want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thanks for the invite. And my name is Daryl Wilson. I coach football over the last 6 years, but my wheelhouse is basketball. I'm a basketball player from a family of basketball players.
Nice.
And my son, who plays in our league, he's just now realizing basketball is in his genes. So he made the smart decision this summer to just put football on the back burner maybe for a while and focus on something.
He's doing very well too, man.
So it's all about him. For me, it's all about him, and it's all about the kids that I coach, and that's me in a nutshell.
Okay.
When it comes to this.
Yeah, good. I'm Coach Secret. I'm the coach of the Pelicans and the Sky. I'm also the director of WSL. Just excited to see where we're going, and we're going to dive into some of that and what we're doing with the league. So one of the first questions that came up was, the growth of WSL and how we've become this, 200 plus and growing. Some of the other leagues are probably 400 and 500, but we're getting there. We're getting to that point where we're going to be recognized here in Anchorage.
Well, those leagues that you're referring to, they've been here forever, and they've had their foothold, and you can't even talk to a kid that hasn't played in that program, and they've done well. But there's so much more room for growth in Anchorage, especially, and to see the growth of this league, it's gone from no one talking about it to, like I talked to you the other day, I was at the gym, and this guy, a friend of mine, I asked him, I said, well, how's your son doing? I always ask about the kids because that's what it's about.
Right.
And his friend that was with him pipes up and says, well, yeah, we're playing in this league, the WS. You heard of it? And Coach, I said, yeah, I've heard of that league. That's a pretty good league. The league I was trying to recruit his son into. Is what I'm telling him. And just from that, and then he was saying, well, and I'm not disparaging other leagues, but he wasn't happy with what they've been doing.
Just another option.
And I'm not going to name any specific league, but he wasn't happy, and he made that clear. And he said, "This is, this is a good opportunity." And of course, that opened the door for me to
speak on.
Oh man, I spoke.
Yeah, what's crazy is I remember last summer around June having the first WSL basketball game. It was the Pelicans and the Bulls. Me and Coach Jenkins were the first one to open up the league. And it does seem like so long ago now. Now that I look back over the seasons that we've had, it just seems like that was a while ago. And, man, I'm just excited that now, people are talking about us. People are realizing that there's another option. Because that's really what it was for me. If I go to the grocery store, I want several options of what I want. You know what I'm saying? So why come we can't have that here in Anchorage, where kids can have options to play basketball, whether what league it is. So that was the whole thing for me.
Yes, and that only game in town, or 1 or 2 games in town, it doesn't serve any justice for the kids. That aren't on that radar. Because you really have to be in that. It's almost like you have to run in certain circles. And the WSL it seems like it's more open to whoever, and they reach out more. And I know this from experience. I heard about the WSL. And it's like full bore.
Yeah, and jumping down to number 2, that's one of the things that the difference between our league. I knew there was something we wasn't addressing, and you had kids who, for whatever reason, they wasn't at that level with some of the other leagues, and so they were kind of being overlooked. And so, I said this previously, that we have to open up doors to all kids. All kids. It doesn't matter what skill level they We have to open our doors and make sure that we're developing players. So that's what it's about. It's about developing players.
And that's what coaches do.
Yeah. And so it's easy, and I tell everybody, it's easy to coach kids who are already developed because you really don't have to do a whole lot other than just spacing the floor and just be where you're supposed to be, kind of thing. And they kind of figure it out from there. But when you have to develop a kid, and he don't know exactly where to be on the floor, he don't know exactly how to set a pick. He doesn't know exactly how he's supposed to box out or rebound and things like that. So you're developing that. That's a whole different league right there, and that's something I'm proud of. I got kids, who are actually just rising to the occasion. I called you one day and I said, Coach, I got 2 kids. I need me and you to coach them. I said, I'll take one, you take one, and we'll just kind of go from there. I said, they're green, they're raw, so let's divide them up, and because I had called other coaches and they didn't want to touch it. They said, oh no, I'm full. I can't take it, coach. My squad's full. I didn't want to turn these kids away, and so I knew, I respect the work you do on the sideline, and I know what I bring to the table. And so we divided those kids up, and now we're coaching them right now.
Hey, and I tell you what, one of those kids that you're referring to, Michael.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it.
Yeah,
man. When I first saw him, he couldn't shoot a layup because of what you've been doing with him on the side and what we've been doing. I pull him during practice. I will pull him to the side, and him and I will have at least 10 minutes of just, we're going to go over the basic stuff.
Right.
And so we've gone from a young man who couldn't shoot a layup, to Coach, he hit 2 3-pointers in a row in practice yesterday.
Man. And I wish I could have seen stuff like that.
And the other kids were like, hey, where'd that come from?
Right.
Actually, I heard that, and that's what drew my attention.
Right.
I didn't know who they were talking about, know, and it was Michael.
Yeah.
And credit to Michael, because Michael will work on things. He's trying to develop himself.
Man.
He understands that his development is really in his hands.
Yeah.
But coaches like yourself that do the extra stuff with kids, because of those kind of things, man, Michael has been a player. As much so that I've invited him back. Michael could play with me, and
it's funny you mentioned that, because he was in my camp. I was doing a camp at the school, and it wasn't so much that because I never really got a chance to do a lot of one-on-one with him because I had so many kids in the gym. But what I did spark in him was the interest, and he got motivated to I want to join the league. I want to learn. I want to, and that's where I helped him at. And so I want to tell you thank you for one, taking that phone call that night, because a lot of people just I don't want it, coach. And
you'd end up with 12 players.
Right. And I was going to take him regardless, because we were at that point where I wasn't going to turn him away, and that's what I'm proud of about our league, is that we'll figure out a way to get you on the team.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're gonna figure out it. So to hear that he's making that transition,
2 3-pointers,
man, and getting focused on the basics, fundamentals, defense,
don't get me wrong, he's not the next Larry Bird, but
right.
I tell you right now, the difference, and you know what else, Coach?
What's that?
The parents. The parents are telling me, thank God, that you guys are here,
right?
And they're always trying to, oh, Coach, you're the best thing since sliced bread, and hey, it's not me,
right.
I can guide them, but are they going to receive it? Are they going to put it in action?
Right.
That's up to them.
Yeah.
And either they do it.
All we can do is just give it to them. They have to do something with it.
Yeah.
I can preach to them all day. You got to work on your craft, even when I'm not around.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go. Because coming to me twice a week is not going to make you the basketball player that you need to be.
No.
So the players that put in that extra work, you can see it. As soon as they come in the gym or come to practice, you've been working on it. Okay, I can see what you've been doing. And so that's something that I always look for in the players, that motivation or that extra work. That extra work that he puts in.
Yeah, I'd say the difference in the WSL and other leagues, like you said, we have everybody from, the most beginning
Yeah.
to some really, really good basketball players,
Yes.
in the city that could run with anybody in the
Yes.
city.
And I'll do that. I'll put our team up against some of our best teams up against any other best teams that are here in Anchorage. I think we've got teams like that, and I'm not afraid to do that. I remember you called me about that tournament, and I appreciate just the phone call saying, "Hey, coach, I want to take some kids to a tournament." And however we turn out in that tournament for me wasn't the bigger issue. Is that we were able to put a team together that were able to go in and compete, and that was what I wanted. Wanted us to do that.
And we did. We competed. We had a lot of challenges that I think if we didn't have those challenges, we'd have been more competitive.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's water under the bridge.
Yeah,
and the next opportunity, we know what to do.
And another thing, the last thing I want to say about what's different for us, we're all year round. Some of these leagues, they have seasonal deals where they do basketball. We may take a month off and we're right back at it. So for anybody who's interested in playing basketball at any point in the year, you can do that with WSL. So I just want everybody to know we are all year round program. We're the only one right now. I'm sure there's probably some other things that may pop up here in the future, but
I'm sure
we're the ones who opened the door for all year round basketball here in Anchorage, and I'm just excited about that. But bringing us down to number 3, specific teams that have grown. Man, so you've been with me now, 2 seasons, 3 seasons?
2 seasons.
And even in just the 2 seasons, your team.
Yeah, I say, we, especially this year, we had to grow because last year we had a player that, was a very dominant player. And, sometimes that's a blessing. Right. Sometimes it's a curse. But I'm not saying which it was either. But without that player, now it gives other players that they have the ability.
Right.
They just needed more of an opportunity, and so we have our all around team growth has shown up in big ways. It's good to see. I tell you, and I'm not just I'm not saying it because you said my team, but your team has grown a lot. That and I know we're going to get to that, so I don't want to touch on that too much, but. One thing about you is you don't change it. I mean, you did a good job retooling.
Yeah, that's what I did.
You retooled it, and your team has gotten a lot better. Yeah. And you can tell that they're being well coached. Yeah, because they're disciplined when they need to be.
Yeah, the thing about it, and I tell everybody, because one of the players asked me, Coach, do you have any plays? I say, we have a system. I say, do we have plays? Yes, but we mostly have a system that we run. And so as long as you understand the system of the Pelicans, what we're trying to do on the sky, then the plays will come. Yeah, you had mentioned another team.
The Pistons, I think, is an improved team.
Yeah.
And they're one of those teams that they have a good range of talent, from the very beginning to guys like Jabez. And sometimes I know from experience, coaching really, really high-skilled kids can be a challenge.
Yes, it can.
But they've definitely gotten better over last session.
And I know we had briefly talked about teams that have been really developing and really making their mark in the WSL. But one of the players that I was looking at was Philip.
Coach, you can't do that because that's my pick. I'm sitting there thinking,
man, Philip. And I have to, he pops up in my head, Coach, and let me tell you why. I watched him